Welcome everyone to another Seating Dynamics quick class. Today we're going to discuss another dynamic seating clinical indicator, and that is preventing client injury. My name's Michelle Lang. I'm an occupational therapist in the Denver, Colorado area. Thanks for joining us today. So one of the primary clinical indicators for use of dynamic seating is to absorb and diffuse client forces. This can protect the equipment from damage, which we address in another quick class, but it also can protect the client from becoming injured. Injury can occur from three different situations. First, there are clients who may demonstrate sustained forces against the unyielding surfaces of their wheelchair seating system, and this is usually the result of very increased muscle tone, large, forceful movements. This young man here is basically standing within his seating system using these sustained extensor forces. We might see a client who instead repeatedly impacts the seating surfaces and wheelchair frame with strong forces. And this could be also the result of increased muscle tone and large forceful movements. And then finally, there are clients who rock within their seating system and may do so with repeated and strong forces. We can certainly see a combination of these sustained and repeated forces as well. Injury can also occur if a client has broken something within their wheelchair seating system or their actual wheelchair frame, and if that person becomes able to contact that. So, for example, this young man had actually broken the lateral support off of their back, and because of their forceful movements continued to contact the back and contacted the residual hardware that had mounted that now broken lateral trunk support, causing injury to the client. If the client is moving with a lot of force, large movements, then we can see sometimes the wheelchair actually becoming tippy or bouncing across the room. And either of these situations or a combination can again lead to client injury. Now, the client may also be injured by significant and repeated forces against the head support pads. So, this gentleman here bangs against his head support pad throughout the day. He may not look like he's using a lot of force, but he has literally worn a bald spot on the back of his head. He also has, at this point, before receiving dynamic head support hardware, had two different mounting hardware sets behind this pad in order to keep him from breaking it. Imagine if we have a client who is capable of breaking the hardware for their head pad, the force that they are exerting through the cervical area and even the brain. Extreme forces through the joints can also lead to client injury. So, for example, people with cerebral palsy are much more likely to develop arthritis at a young age in comparison with the rest of the population. Well, why? It's because of very, very strong forces that are occurring through many of the joints, such as the joints of the knee, shown here. And when that person is in a static seating system and cannot move their joints, but there's still force occurring within the body due to extension, that force has to go somewhere. And that force will end up going to the point of least resistance, which is the joints. If we can relieve some of that force through dynamic seating rather than let it build up in the joints, we can conceivably prevent or minimize some of this joint stress and even arthritis. Now, if you have any questions or you'd like to problem solve some specific client scenarios, please feel free to reach out to us. We're very, very happy to talk to you and problem solve along with you. So reach out to Seeing Dynamics directly, or certainly feel free to email me. Thank you very much, and we hope you can join us for another quick class here very soon.